So we're in Sydney. I get my, I'm at baggage claim, and at this point I go, well, I need to get a hold of the driver. So my company was kind enough to get a driver to pick me up at the airport, so they can take me back to the hotel. So I was like, well, that's awesome, but I have no way of getting a hold of them. So uh, in in my oversight of everything else, I forgot to upgrade my phone plan to international. So I had no service because I was in Australia now. And I had to try to get onto a Wi Fi connection to then upgrade a plan. And it took like another 5, almost 10 minutes of me messing around with it to actually get the plan to apply and give myself at least the ability to make and take calls. In the meantime, like I'm on the Wi-Fi trying to get a hold of them. I'm emailing, my office or my country manager, and doing all that. So then we can let them know that I'm in the country and at the airport. So the driver does call me, so I get his number and kind of lets me know where he is. So while waiting for my bags to kind of come through, um, he's at. I have to go through customs at this point, so get wheeled up. The thing is, because I had two bigger bags, which I'm not used to traveling with. We needed to have somebody actually push them on a cart to join me since I was in a wheelchair. So we waited for a few minutes for someone to come down and do that for us. So we finally get through customs. I get my passport. They don't really ask any questions. They just look at my thing, look at the screen. Everything looks good. Give me my passport back, and I'm in. All right, cool. Now that I'm outside the airport, waiting to see what's going on. So I'm no longer in the airport. I'm in Australia. And so we get pushed through the crowd, and we find the driver. He's got a little phone up with my name on it. And so I get out of the wheelchair, get my bags, and I managed to hobble my way out of the airport to the car. So now, because at this point I've basically been kind of intermittently standing for the last 15 hours, so my legs were not working. And it took me a little while to get like my balance and everything kind of reacclimated. So, and also being tight and everything like that from just sitting for so long, I was like, oof, okay, this is a little harder than I expected, but I did it. We get to the car, and again, they drive on the other side of the world. They drive on the other side of the street, and the cars are also on the other side. So I'm like all discombobulated. I managed to get into the car, and the driver takes me to the hotel. And meanwhile, we're talking shop, talking about differences between the U.S. and Australia. Very nice fellow. It seemed like a good guy. So get dropped off, check in. Well, I mean, at this point, it's 9 o'clock in the morning on Sunday. So the check-in for most of these, and most hotels they say it's 3 o'clock, but I was like, all right, well, I am not gonna sit around for 6 hours in the lobby. And he's like, well, we can probably get you in around like 1:30. And I'm like, all right, well, that's still 4 hours. What am I doing for 4 hours? So he's like, well, so where my hotel is, across the street is a major shopping center, basically like a big mall. It's got three stories, and it basically has anything and everything you need there. And so they're like, well, you can get something to eat if you want. Walk across the street, go to the mall, the Macquarie Mall, and spend time there. I was like, okay, sure. Now they're like, you can cross the street like through traffic, And I'm like, I've seen how busy this road is. I'm barely mobile as is. I am not hoofing it across this fucking street to like get up there. So when I walked outside, which by the way, it's winter here. So no, mind you, like it's like 50 degrees, 40 degrees uh, Fahrenheit. So it's cool, not freezing, right? Just windy. So I have a hoodie on. So I'm like, all right, well, I leave the hotel, I get to the sidewalk, and the hill that we're based off of, we're basically in a valley, effectively, and the sidewalk goes up. Well, it's like a 30-degree incline on either side of the street. But they're like, well, if you leave, you can go, if you go down to go left, there's a street light there. That's where you can cross over, and that'll take you into like the parking garage in the back of the mall. From there, you have to like go up the switchback, and then go in the back way through Kmart. Here's the thing: unlike in the States, Kmart's are decent. Like, they're not shitholes. They're actually kept up to stock, organized, well maintained. Like, it's kind of crazy. So I walk in and I'm like, I don't know where the fuck I'm going. I just want to get something to eat. So they had people there that checked like the receipts, kind of like the wherever, as you come in. So I'm like, hey, question. I'm new to the country. I need to get something to eat. Where is food? And the kid who's back there just wasn't prepared for that question. He's like, if you head in the points of the directions, like if you go there, that'll take you to the rest of the shopping center. I'm like, cool, I'll take it from there. So I, uh, so I wound my way through the Kmart, find the entrance, kind of like you would at like an anchor store at a mall in the U.S. It opens up to like the main kind of thoroughfare within the mall, and I'm like, I have no idea where anything is. Cool, and I'm now realizing that this place is multi-tiered, and so I'm like, I'm looking for an info table, anything to kind of give me an idea. And so I walk out and I see signs for like stores in these different wings, but I'm not seeing anything food wise. And I think he mentioned about going up like 2 or 3 flights. So I was like, all right. So there had to be an escalator right there. Get an escalator, heads riding up. I see people sitting down for food, but then I was like, oh, it's just like a little kind of internal coffee shop. It's not a restaurant like that. So I go up to the third floor basically, and I see signs for a food court. All right, cool. Start heading that way. Well, I'm now realizing that like, you know what? I need a phone number. Like, I need an Australian number because I only have my US. And if I want to get a hold of anybody here, local, I need to have a local number. And that's going to be the number going forward for everybody here. So I'm walking down this ramp towards the food court, and I happen to see a Vodafone store, kind of like a Verizon store. Um, I walk in. It's a small little space. Kid is in the back, and I go up to him like, "Hey, so I am new to the country. I literally just arrived like 2 hours ago. I need a phone number. Now I don't need a phone because my Pixel I have is international, um, but I need a phone number. So like, if you can get me a SIM, like let's just do that." Thankfully, everything worked out, so it gave me a phone number, which, ironically, is very similar to my US number. I gave him the criteria, and we found a decent enough match that I think is pretty funny. So it all worked out. Programmed it on a SIM, put it in my phone, boom, Bob's your uncle. I now have both my Google Fi and my Vodafone signals on my phone. Cool. So now I had that. I kind of could go out. I took like maybe 20 minutes in total. Easy enough. Not too expensive. I think, all right, cool. So now I'm following the signs for food court, and I finally see food, like like restaurants. Cool. Now I'm like, shit. I don't know what I want to eat. Like, there's a few options here, but I'm like, I'm not really necessarily I'm in the mood for anything in particular. So I end up finding this restaurant called Mad Mex, and I get a burrito. Basically, it's a Mexican, like a Chipotle kind of place. So I get a small burrito, get I think a water, sit down and the way that their restaurant was um, placed is that they had tables in the front of the store, also tables kind of out in the hallway a little bit, but then they also had a counter space so you can sit and people watch. So that's what I did. So I sat down there and kind of relaxed for a little bit, had my burrito, drank my water, and just people watched and kind of marveled in um, the sameness, but also the differences of people as you walk by. Um, and I think, okay, like I am here. I am now officially in Australia, the furthest I've ever been from home, ever. And I think, okay. Um, I've also been basically up for lack of a better phrasing, like I've been up for 30 hours. And I'm like, all right, well, I I'm tired, but I don't want to sleep just yet because it's still so early. And so I hang out for a little bit, and then I decide to go for a little walk, and I go out the way that I thought would take me back around. So obviously, since I've gone up floors. I noticed people like were traveling in and out a lot from where I was, and I kind of looked around and I saw that basically there's an exit right next to me. It took me outside, and basically there's a bus depot right there, which explains it. Like, oh, okay. Well, the uh, so I go out and I start making my way on the outside towards the side where the hotel is. Because I realized at this point, like, I managed to spend enough time where it's one, about one, and I was like, oh, well, I see, managed to waste time. Now, mind you, also this mall does pretty much have everything. Like in the process of me wandering through it, they have a movie theater there. They have a bowling alley there. Um, they have every kind of store that, like, from upscale to comic book shop um, to they have supermarkets, two supermarkets in the mall on the top floor. Um, One's Woolworth, which is a name I haven't heard in a very long time, and usually it's by people like 70 or older. um, and the other one was Big W. Or I was like, okay, okay. Or no, Kohl's. The other one's Kohl's. That's another supermarket that they have. And I'm like, I haven't even found this place yet, but okay. So yeah, this mall has everything. So if you wanted something that, like, I actually picked a great spot because, like, if anything I need is right here. So, uh, but it's about 1 o'clock, and I'm like, all right, well, now I am officially ready to get back and get into my room and decompress a little bit. So I start heading back. I go out to the bus depot, start heading the direction. I walk most of the way down the terminal, and I realize, I'm like, I don't think this goes to the street that I'm thinking it is. I pull up a little map on my phone. I'm like, yeah, no. Something about this that doesn't make any sense from what I'm looking at. Now, the avenue that the buses take to come into the terminal from this one road where I was standing, like, it's obviously what's a one-way street that comes in. And I noticed while I was standing there, people were crossing over, and there's a sidewalk behind this railing on the other side of the road. and it was kind of heading down, like behind the walkway. So after a minute of like making sure nothing was coming, I was like, all right, the only sidewalk that I see. Nobody else is coming this way where I am to go over. So I was like, you know what? Let me just follow traffic. I'm assuming people know what they're doing. So I cross over and I get on the sidewalk and I start walking. Now, I realize that the sidewalk is steep, and thankfully I'm walking down it, but it's like, um, and I found as I'm walking down, I go, all right, this is what where I need to go, because I can see like the intersection that we had turned around in when I came in with the driver, but it's steep, and I'm trying to be safe and kind of taking small steps, heading down, get to the intersection, and I look at it, and I'm like, all right, well, the hotel's on the other side of the road. From the top of the hill, is there an easier way for me to cross the road? I would have to, and I don't say it's easier, but the way I could have done it is I'd have to cross the turn lane, like on my side, go up a little more to my left to basically go to the next block up. At that point, there was a crosswalk across through the intersection, which meant that I then had to cross over there, then cross again on the other side through the intersection, just to get on the same side of the block that my hotel was in, and then walk down from there. And I was like, nope, I'm not gonna do that. So I looked over and I could see the side of the road that I was on. The end of the block was the same intersection that I came across earlier. So I was like, all right. So I just kind of walked down the intersection, walked on the sidewalk, the steep ass sidewalk, got to the intersection and crossed over and came back the way I came in, or came back the way I left. I was like, okay. By that point, got to the desk and I was like, hey, because I also checked my bags with the hotel when I first checked in, so they kept it. I was like, thank you. So they checked everything in for me. So when I got there, they're like, all right, the room is ready. Thank God. So I check in and give me the key card and like that. And I am now sitting in the room for the first time, able to kind of like relax. And that was the end of my first day. And I guess day 0 and 1 of my time in Australia.